Alright, I want to apologize. The pollen here is really bad, so if it looks like I'm tearing up and crying, it's not. It's the pollen. It's that's what it is. This is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and spoiler alert, um, Bobby. Okay, so obviously I've had some time to process it, and it's not actually how I feel right now. So, but this was, yeah, that's pretty much how I felt at the end of this episode. This is third season, 13th episode, Parting Shot. It was really, really sad. I mean, it's funny because those two characters, Bobby and Hunter, have only been on for about a season and a half. And yet it feels like they've been on for so much longer. And that's what this show I feel like does very, very well. Like it just the first season, the betrayal of Ward when I was watching it on Netflix really, really got to me. Like I felt sick to my stomach after it happened because somehow in just the first season alone, somehow I'd grown so attached to these characters that his betrayal of the team actually made me sick because it felt like I was betrayed too. And it hadn't even been a full season yet. Somehow they had managed to do that. I don't know how. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just me overconnecting the characters too much. I don't know. If I'm not the only one, please let me know. But they did that so well with Bobby and Hunter too. I mean, Hunter came on first episode of the second season. Bobby came on a few episodes in to the second season, and yet it felt like they'd been on from the very beginning. And so this episode is just really sad because now they are kaput. That's actually a very clever play on words, considering they were talking about speaking Russian this episode. Anyway, um, no, but I mean it was sad. Uh, this episode was set up. I kind of was like, what's going on? You know, what are they doing? Is this for real? Is this a trap set by Gideon? Is this something to I wasn't sure what was going on as far as Bobby and Hunter being questioned. I didn't know what was going on there, um, but we're finding out more about Malik's plan in these kind of flashbacks. They set up the episode like I've seen in many shows many times where they start off in the future and then they cut back and they're like 34 hours ago, something like that. So that's how this episode was set up. So they kept going back and showing how they got to this point, how Bobby and Hunter ended up captured and being questioned. And ultimately, it was really well done. I was kind of worried when they were doing it. I'm like, man, we've already had this in the show like 3 times. I've seen this enough. But I'm going to say ultimately a lot. At the end of it, it really did feel like it was needed. It did feel like you had to do this episode that way. You couldn't just end with them getting captured and then showing them being questioned. You had to kind of start off with them being questioned, so it kind of keeps you guessing what's going on. Who are these people that are questioning them? Is Malik behind this? Is Coulson behind this? What's going on here? So I liked it as far as how they handled this episode. The story of this episode, though, is also very good because we don't really need an introduction. We saw how the last episode ended with Bobby and Hunter hiding out in the belly of a plane following Malik. So we know how they infiltrated. They get there. They're finding out more about Malik's plan. We find out that he's trying to take over for this prime minister who apparently isn't for the sanctuary plan that Malik and this other guy that he coerced is. They're trying to set the sanctuary up, and they're trying to. S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to stop it. But I mean, it all unfolds very well. Like you're finding out more about Malik's plan as you go along. You find out more about this other inhuman that Malik has to kill this guy. Which his power is pretty cool, by the way, that he's actually able to bend his shadow and cause his shadow to attack. I want that power. Like, it's really cool. And then ultimately it leads up to a moment where Bobby has to make the hard call to save Hunter and the Prime Minister, and shoots the guy and kills him, which leads to them getting captured. But overall, like, there's not a whole lot in between that. The main story of this one is Bobby and Hunter. Like, from the very beginning, they kind of set the tone. Having them captured together and interrogated, having them starting out together on a mission and talking about, Hunter's asking, when are we ever just going to hang out? When are we just going to hang out and not on a mission? And ultimately, I probably should have seen it coming from the beginning, but I didn't expect them to kind of go this route. Like, I don't know. It made sense that, yeah, they're going to get some time off, but for them to just not be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore was kind of the ultimate step. You could have gone for, yeah, they're just going to get some time off, they're going to get some time for rest and relaxation, or you can do this where they ultimately choose, look, we have to turn ourselves in, we have to denounce ourselves as agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect S.H.I.E.L.D., to protect our secret. That's it's the hard call. And the show has not had to make that call a lot of the time. I mean, we lost Trip in season 2, but that's pretty much it. Well, kind of, we lost Ward. We lost the Ward that we knew in season 1. But, Trip's the only real part of the team that we've lost. He was a major part of the team throughout season 2, and then they killed him off, and it's kind of like, no, not Trip. Same thing for Bobby and Hunter. They didn't kill him off, but it kind of feels like they're gone. They're not a part of the team anymore. They're not a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that final scene in the bar is just, like I said, I was tearing up. Not from the pollen. I lied about that. I was tearing up. It was, first they get a drink on their table. I'm just like, what? Somebody trying to poison them? Like, what? And then Hunter turns around. It's Simmons. And then they get another one. You guys are really popular. Fitz is here too. And then as the drinks keep coming, Bobby's like, it's a spy's farewell. Yeah, they're all there in the bar. They all raise their shots. But that's not what got me. What really got me, Mac. I mean, I knew they were going to do it because Mac is the one that has history with them before S.H.I.E.L.D. They discussed that. They showed the scene where they were on the aircraft carrier together. He and Bobby. They have that history, and I was just waiting for them to kind of have one last moment with him because out of all of them, yeah, Mac's the one that is the closest to them. And so, all of them raise their glass and just, take a shot, and then they all start walking out, and they turn, and Mac is still there. He still hasn't taken his shot because they had to do one more. Because it had to be personal. It had to be just them. And as he's walking out, you see his eyes welling up with tears. I'm like, no, Mac, don't cry. You can't cry. I hate it when guys cry, because then it makes me feel like I'm going to cry, because you see a grown man cry, it's just not right. And to see Mac, I mean, Mac is probably one of the most stubborn and just hard-headed. You don't expect to see him cry. You don't expect to see him show much emotion outside of maybe some sarcastic one-liners that he has. Funny, I'm the guy that kills Gordon. That was great. That's about the extent of the emotion we've seen him show. This was beyond that. This was much deeper for him. And losing the two friends that he had, the two close friends, obviously he has more friends now, but yeah, it's heart-wrenching. It sucks. Now, all this being said, I did hear rumors near the end of season 2, because Bobby had gotten shot in the shoulder, and there was talk that Bobby and Hunter were going to leave S.H.I.E.L.D. and start their own TV show, and they actually nixed the idea because so many fans said, no, we love them on the show, which they do have the best chemistry out of everybody on the show aside from Fitzsimmons, and that's just because we've seen Fitzsimmons since season one. Like they are the ultimate couple from the beginning. Whereas Bobby and Hunter, when they joined on, when we found out that they were, used to be married, all that stuff, we started seeing their relationship. We started seeing how they got along, how they didn't get along, and there was humor in it. It was some of the funniest moments in S.H.I.E.L.D. So to see them gone, like a lot of fans said, no, we don't want that. And so they ultimately said no. I'm wondering if maybe they decided to do it anyway. Like, I don't know. Because it did feel kind of out of nowhere for them to just all of a sudden, oh, Bobby and Hunter off the team now. So I wonder if maybe they finally did decide, you know what, we were going to do this. We at first said no, but now I think it's time. Let's start their own show. Because, it's a chance to grow the Marvel universe even more than it is now. Now that I think about it, maybe growing the universe isn't a great idea. But, it is a chance for them now to. We've had their moments. We've had them, kind of grow a little bit. I am sad to see them go, just because, they're a good part of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're a good part of the team, but maybe they are going to get their own show, and we can get even more of them. Don't really know what the story there is going to entail, but if they do get their own show, I'm going to be very excited to see that. Really, really sad. It did take me a while to process it, so. That's about it for this episode. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We got a brief glimpse of Malik's daughter at the end. I don't know. I'm guessing she's going to become important. She was talking about Ward, and she asked, "Does Coulson know he's back?" He's like, "No, he doesn't know." And then they're both like shooting shot put, and I don't know. It just kind of seemed thrown in there just so. I'm guessing she's going to become a bigger character soon, so it may show her so that way in the next episode when we see her, it's like, oh yeah, that's Malik's daughter. I don't know. It just seemed like a introduction for her character, I guess. But yeah, I mean, overall, that's this episode. It was mainly Bobby and Hunter in their final moments for S.H.I.E.L.D. Really sad to see them go. So I don't know why I wanted to do Hunger Games, but it just popped in my head. So those are my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Obviously, there are a lot of people who do follow social media stuff, who follow Marvel stuff. If you have heard about whether or not they're going to do, I think it's called Mockingbird. At least I think that's like Bobby's code name. So I think that was going to be the name of the show. If you do know if they are doing that show, let me know, because I don't really research that type of stuff. I try to stay fairly in the dark so I can be surprised. But if you've heard anything about that, try to keep it spoiler free. But let me know if they greenlit something like that. And let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Leave a like and subscribe for more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.